Good afternoon everyone, we are Group 6 and today we'll be discussing about breach of contract. A breach of contract occurs when one party fails to meet their obligation in a legally binding agreement. This can take many forms such as late delivery, non-payment or substandard perform. It's crucial to understand breach of contract because it establishes the expectation and responsibilities between parties in an agreement. When one party fails to uphold the end, it can disrupt business relationships and lead to legal consequences. Throughout our presentation, we will explore how breaches can occur, the impact they have, and how they can be addressed. Thank you for your attention, and we look forward to diving deeper into the topic.
I will briefly explain the three main types of breach in contracts. First, we have the minor or partial breach. This happens when there's a small deviation from the agreed term that doesn't significantly impact the overall contract. For example, a late delivery might inconvenience you, but the main purpose of the contract is still fulfilled. Next is the material breach. This is more serious. It occurs when the breach undermines the core purpose of the contract, causing significant harm. Think of it as failing to deliver a critical product or service that contracts depend on. Finally, there's the anticipatory breach. This happens when one party signals in advance that they won't fulfill their obligation. It's essentially a warning that non-performance is coming. Understanding these breaches helps us protect our rights and navigate contracts more effectively.
We introduce ourselves first. So, my name is Nur Syairatika binti Suparman and
my name is Nusha Zanani Azra binti Suparman.
In 18th century, Qatar, a sailor, signed a contract with a Powell, the ship owner, to work aboard a ship sailing from Jamaica to Liverpool. The agreement was simple. Qatar will receive 30 joiners, but only if he completed the entire voyage. However, fate had other plans. Midway through the voyage, Qatar tragically passed away. His widow sought a portion of the promised payment for the work Qatar has already completed. But Powell argued that payment was conditional upon Qatar complete the entire voyage. And this case brings to the court. The central issue before the court was simple yet profound. Should Qatar Bertier Performance entitle his estate to a portion of his payment, or should the strict term of the contract prevail? This was a question of fairness versus legal obligation.
The court ruled in favor of a Powell. The contract was deemed entire, meaning a payment was due only if Qatar complete the voyage. Since he did it, no payment was owed. The ruling emphasizing the principle of entire obligations, a harsh yet legally binding doctrine. This case became a cornerstone of a contract law. Today, the strictness of entire obligation has a softness in some contexts, with the court recognizing a fairness and unjust arrangement. Yet, the Qatar vs. Powell reminded us of the importance of a clear and fair contractual term. As our voyage ends, we live with the lessons. Contracts are not just words on a paper. They are promises with consequences.
Hello.
Hi.
So, I am Natasha Izzatina Najwa binti Abdul Rahman.
My name is Amir Aisha binti Mai Yusuf.
So today we will discuss about case Ritchie versus Atkinson that happened in 1808.
So, here are a few facts that happened during the case. The claimant, Ritchie, entered into a contract with Atkinson, the defendant, to transport specific quantities of ham and iron. The agreement stipulates a set payment per ton for each type of cargo, £5 per ton for ham and 5 shillings per ton for iron. However, Ritchie only transported a part of the agreed quantity. When he sought payment for the amount he did transport, Atkinson refused, arguing that he owed nothing because the contract was not fully performed. So, here are the issues that has arisen in this case. Firstly, was the contract divisible such that partial performance could entitle the claimant to partial payment? Secondly, could the claimant claim any payment despite not delivering the full quantity specified in the contract? Thirdly, did the claimant's partial delivery amount to substantial performance, thus justifying payment for the portions completed, albeit reduced for the undelivered amount?
And this is the decision that made by the court. The court ultimately ruled in favor of the claimant on the basis that the contract was divisible. The fact that the contract specified a price per ton for each type of cargo suggested that the contract could be broken into separate parts, allowing the claimant to claim payment for the cargo he did deliver, rather than being denied payment altogether. Since the contract was divisible, the court found that Richie was entitled to be paid for the actual quantity transported, allowing him to recover the value of the ham and iron he had delivered to the defendant. However, the court also recognized the defendant's right to damage for the portion of the contract that was not fulfilled, meaning Atkinson could offset the amount owed to Richie by the damage caused by Richie's failure to deliver the amount specified in the contract. This case reflects the principle of substantial performance, which allows a party who has largely performed a contract to receive compensation with deduction for the unperformed part, providing a flexible approach where the court assesses whether the partial completion warrant payment and consider the circumstances rather than enforcing a strict all or nothing rule.
Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Jamal Hafiz bin Jamaluddin.
And my name is Raihana Zulaika binti Muhammad Razwan.
Okay, let me continue to our case study as topic issue. Bolton v Mahadeva 1972. This case issue, which is began with fact defective central heating system to installation.
So I will discuss the Batam versus Mahadeva case issue, which is the central issue in this case revolves around the installation of a heating system that was fundamentally defective. First, should the installer be entitled to payment despite numerous defects? Second, does the presence of harmful fumes in the living room represent a breach of a fundamental term of the contract? So, do you know the court judgment for this case?
Okay, let me to explain to you guys about how made the decisions by the court in this case issue. As a solution, they are bring significant defect undermine contract's purpose, like no payment grants. And the next.
So the lesson that we can get from this case underscore the significance of substantial performance in contract law, stating that contractors can only recover payment if they fulfill their main obligation even if minor defect occur.
Hi, I'm Nurfana binti Badisham.
And hi, my name is Fazirfana binti Raja Azman. So let's start.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Yes. You know about this one case that recently viral this day?
Oh, about this case, Startup versus McDonald, 1843, right?
Yes. So we discussed this case together. So this case Startup sued McDonald over a contract to deliver 10 tons of oil by the end of the March. So the contract had a specific delivery deadline.
On March 31, the claimant delivered the oil at 8:30 p.m. So the final day of the agreed period. However, the defendant refused to accept the delivery, arguing that the late hour made it reasonable and impractical to do so.
So the court had to decide if Startup delivery was acceptable or McDonald broke the contract by refusing the oil.
Oh, so even though the delivery was late, McDonald had enough time before midnight to check the oil. However, the Chief Justice disagreed, saying there's need to be both enough time and a reasonable opportunity to inspect. If the warehouse was closed or staff absent due to the late hour, that could prevent a valid delivery.
So normally, if a contract doesn't state the time and place of delivery, the buyer must be available at a reasonable time and place. So if the seller is late, the buyer doesn't have to wait forever. If the seller arrives after the buyer have left, so the seller have made delivery possible.
I think for this case, McDonald was there and could have checked the oil, so the delivery was valid even if late, because it was still within the contract deadlines.
So that's all from us. Thank you.
In conclusion, precise contract drafting is vital. Courts rely on the exact wording of a contract, but also balance a strict interpretation with fairness depending on how well the contract is structured. Clear communication and a legal advice are a key to preventing disputes. In short, a well-drafting contract ensures clarity and avoids future complications.